I'm Phil LeBeau with breaking news. A comment now from Toyota regarding the tweet from President-elect Donald Trump regarding the plans to build a plant in Mexico and the need for a border tax because that plant will be shipping Corollas up to the U.S. There's the tweet from the president-elect saying Toyota Motor said we'll build a new plant in Baja, Mexico to build Corolla cars for U.S. No way. Build a plant in U.S. or pay big border tax. Well, Toyota out with a statement just a few minutes ago saying that the new plant that is planned for Mexico will not cut U.S. employment. And then it goes on to say that Toyota looks forward to collaborating with the Trump administration to serve in the best interests of consumers and the automotive industry. What's interesting, guys, when you look at this statement from Toyota, it's very similar to what we heard from Ford when Donald Trump was first coming out and saying, you're not going to build that plant down in Mexico. Ford continually said, well, it's not going to hurt employment in the U.S. In fact, we're going to have as many people employed in the U.S. as we were, whether or not we build this plant in Mexico. So Toyota is sticking with the line of this isn't going to hurt employment in the U.S., but I think Donald Trump's point is I don't care whether it hurts employment initially. The idea of them importing cars to the U.S. is not good in terms of how he wants to conduct trade policy. Guys, back to you.
I don't mean ever to put words in Mr. Trump's mouth, and who would? But the idea here is not that it would reduce employment in the United States, but what he's looking for is for employment to be increased in the United States. So,
and
if you're going to expand capacity there and send those cars here, why not expand capacity here and keep those cars here?
Absolutely. That is, and I hear this all the time from people, especially Trump supporters, who are saying you're missing the point. These plants should be built in the United States. If you are a global automaker, and they all are global automakers, they're looking at things from the perspective of where do I export to around the world? And in their opinion, Mexico gives them the best options, both in terms of Latin America, Europe, and eventually potentially.
Well, as you pointed out last hour, it's not just NAFTA and a free trade agreement between us and Mexico and Canada, but it's Mexico's own free trade agreements with dozens of other countries around the world that make it a very attractive place to manufacture because of low labor costs and to export from because of free trade agreements.
And a couple of things to keep in mind, Tyler. One is that they manufacture the Corolla at a plant in Mississippi right now. The Corolla is the third best-selling vehicle in the United States. About 360,000 were sold last year, so it's incredibly popular. We know that, and they do manufacture it here in the United States. Now, how many of those 360,000 would ultimately be coming from Mexico when this plant opens up in 2019, 2020? There's no way of saying at this point. But the argument that you hear from the Trump supporters is, look, if you know you're going to need that capacity, as you pointed out, why not add on to the plant in Mississippi, whether that's even possible? Or find another greenfield spot and start building cars in that location. So it is interesting. And one last thing, Tyler, we ran the numbers. Toyota imported 47,000 vehicles that were sold in the U.S. They're Tacoma pickup trucks. That's how many that came in of the 1.98 million that were imported from Mexico and sold in the U.S. last year. Just 47,000.
You know, what's interesting, Phil, is that Toyota's response is very surgical in that it's responding simply to what was exactly in the tweet as opposed to saying, hey, you know what, a big bulk, the majority of the cars we sell here in the United States are actually made here in the United States. We are providing Americans with jobs as it stands now, and they're also building, as I understand it, a new administrative office in Plano, Texas.
Oh, it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
We've been down there. We've covered it. We've talked with Jim Lentz, who, by the way, we will be talking with next Monday morning at the Detroit Auto Show. No doubt we'll be asking him about this. Toyota has been one of those companies that has worked really hard at trying to make it clear it views itself, yes, it's a Japanese corporation, but it views itself as a key and important corporate citizen of the United States. Having said that, in this case, it's what's happening south of the border that is in the scope of Mr. Trump's tweets these days.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.